Hi folks, so I finally managed to get Forza Motorsport working online, so I thought I'd treat you to the 3 qualifying races that I did. First race is at Hakone. I actually managed to qualify for this one in first place, so I was hoping that this was going to be a nice clean race, and it was as it turned out. But as you can see, I went in way too hot into the first corner, but thankfully I think everybody else just followed me, and that let me get away a little bit. Then we get NZI Fu coming through on the corner here. Because this was a qualifying one, I really wanted to avoid any penalties for contact or anything like that, so I was quite happy to let him through. Then I got unceremoniously shunted off the course by Skay 319394, who's already got a 2.75 second penalty against him. He gets nothing for knocking me off the track, but that's fine. Because he makes an absolute mess of this corner and lets me sneak through on the inside, back up to P2. So everyone around me's actually got a penalty now. Just out of range of the slipstream down the straight there, but we do manage to close up on the corner. I'm through at the end of lap 2, comfortably in second place, and this time I'm actually in the slipstream so I can pull a little bit closer. Have a little look out the outside. He brakes early, and I get the move done. Through into P1. But he's certainly not letting me away with it. He's all over the back of me. I leave him a little space and he comes through on the outside. Try to keep him as far out as I can, and again take him on the brakes. This time I shut the door in front of him so there's no cutbacks. And we're pretty much in the opposite position from the end of the previous lap. Coming up again on the inside, but not quite close enough. There's another look. Plenty of space, but he drops back again. I see he's dropping back, and Skay 319394 overtakes him, but I see now Skay has got a 5-second penalty, so I suspect he possibly didn't overtake him legally, as NZI Fu drops back to 4th place. but I've got a decent gap now over the second place driver, so 3 laps to go. Just needed to keep it clean and tidy. So this was the only one of the 3 races that I really got any practice time on at all. I had about 2 practice laps and then did 3 qualifying laps. So I was a bit more comfortable with this track than the next 2. And I think it showed in the driving and the result. A little bit of a twitch there. Slight oversteer on the brakes. Did give him a chance to catch up, but then it looks like Skye made a mistake on that corner, slips back from 2nd to 4th. We've got Jutty 84 behind us now. Pretty close race for 2nd place at the moment. Looks like NZI Fu pulled back all the distance and he's overtaken Jutty to take 2nd place. And I come slow through that corner, which lets him catch up, and they're jumping back and forth, the 2 of them, so quite a battle going on there between the 2 of them. And Jutty must have made a mistake and drops way back in 4th place, 5 seconds behind now. Fuel running low, should be okay for another lap. So I'm coming through into the last lap with a decent lead, 2.3 seconds. But the tyres are definitely going off at this point, as I can't keep to the racing line at all. But hopefully everybody's in the same boat. And the game very helpfully telling me all the way through the final lap that I should go into the pits. Which really, you would think it would have the ability to sense context that no one's going to pit on their final lap. As you can see, I've been dropping some time as we go through these last few corners. It's down to 1.6 seconds now. And then at this point, the tyres are just about done. I'm just about done. Take a really bad line through the final corner. Manage to get onto the power. And across the finish line in 1st. So about 9/10 of a second ahead of 2nd place. And we can see with the penalty applied to Skye, 319.394, he actually drops down to 5th place in the end. So we all get our chance up on the podium. Jutty gets 3rd. NIZ Fu gets 2nd, and I am stoked as I get my moment of glory. 1st place. So on to race 2, which was at Laguna Seca. For this one, I kind of know the track a little bit anyway, but I only got 1 practice lap followed by the 3 qualifying laps. So it's a slightly different layout to what I'm used to. So I ended up qualifying in 7th place on this one. So a little bit trickier for me at the start here with a bit of traffic in front of me and behind me. So a bit of chaos around the first corner, but we managed to avoid it all. And up into P3. Through here we're way faster than Lord Goose Daddy, but I can't decide what to do here, and I end up, he pulls back but not far enough. We collide. I can't tell if that was my fault or not. I certainly didn't get a penalty for it, but as we're going to find out very soon, the penalty system is pretty flawed, so I hope that wasn't my fault, because it pretty much totally took him out. and knocked me back to 7th place where I started off. So my aim for this race was really just for it to be a clean race, and for me to maybe try to finish a place or two higher than where I started. Coming through this corner, I managed to pick up 2 places. I went to P5. So everything's so far going not too badly, but things are about to take a turn for the worse. As we come through this corner, the driver in front of me hits the wall, spins out onto the road. I clip him as he's coming back onto the track, and I get a 5-second penalty for that, which is absolutely insane. My race engineer kindly suggests I don't do that again, but I just can't understand how that could be considered to be my fault. But hey, there we go. There are a lot of problems with the penalty system, I think. So that was just one of those things, I guess. But I was over-driving at this point to try to make up time. Went wide, which gives me a 0.2 second penalty, and then wide again on that, coming off that corner. But no penalty, which is good. But I've got Turbo all over the back of me, and I know from qualifying, although he didn't actually get a clean qualifying lap, his laps were really, really fast, so I didn't expect to be able to hold him off for very long. And honestly, again, because it's a qualifying race, I didn't want to risk collisions, so I wasn't going to really fight against him. So he gets the inside line on me here, and I just ease off a little bit and let him through. But he was so much faster than me, there's no way I would have kept up with him anyway. But it does give me something to aim for now. I can follow him on the track. I cut the track slightly, coming over the start of the corkscrew there, which doesn't give me a penalty, but I know that if you cut the track on the exit to the corkscrew, you can get some pretty harsh penalties. I think up to about 2 seconds, which is pretty bad. So he takes a excursion onto the sand there and out on that corner, but I make a mess of the corner as well, so he's alright. And all the time the salty orange is catching up on me. He's brought it down to about 2.5 seconds. Turbo's really pushing it to the limit. But I have to say, I do enjoy driving the Civic. It is a fun car to drive. Occasionally I forget that it's front wheel drive and make mistakes on the corners, but otherwise it's a really good car to drive. It sounds pretty amazing as well. Cut the track again, but luckily I was coasting through it, so no penalty applied. And at this point the racer really wasn't driving very well. Just making a lot of simple little mistakes. But thankfully the guys around me were performing about the same, so it wasn't really making a big difference.
3 to go.
But if I want to be in front of Salty Orange, then I need to get at least 5.2 seconds ahead of him, which I haven't looked like doing yet. And I have to say, the racing line that I've got on here, the braking line that I've got showing, I'm not sure if it's really much help, because it's not very accurate. There's a lot of places where you can brake later, or just take a slightly different line that's better. So I'll probably turn that off, just use the Force instead. But as we can see, Turber is disappearing into the distance. The guy in first place is now nearly 15 seconds ahead of me. And here we've got tyres on the road, which massively slows me down. Salty Orange man clearly must have been able to get through the gap that I created for him. It's just, why is that even a thing in this game? It's supposed to be a racing game, but you can have stuff on the track that affects one driver. Absolute nonsense. So through all that, and the not great driving that came after it, the gap to me and Salty Orange is now down to under 2 seconds. So it's starting to look like 5th place was probably going to be where I was going to finish up, because he's got nobody behind him. And Turbar is gone now. And again, helpfully advised that I should probably go into the pits this lap, which obviously I'm not going to do. Stuff all over the track again. But at this point the gap between me and Salty Orange is up to 4.2 seconds. Give or take. And then just coming up to the final corner, the gap suddenly increases to 5.2. But then drops back down again. So we end up 4.6 seconds ahead of him, which gives us a finish in 6th place, which is still one position higher than I started, so got to be reasonably happy with that. But as you can see from the penalties, it looks as if, so the person currently in 9th place is the one who came back out onto the road that I hit. They've got a 5-second penalty as well, so it looks as if we both received 5-second penalties. And the other couple of drivers have clearly picked up penalties as well, including Lord Goose Daddy, who I collided with on the first lap, who's got 5.5 seconds of penalties. So I'm not sure about this penalty system. It doesn't seem to be able to always determine who's in the wrong. And sometimes it determines nobody's in the wrong, when clearly one person pushed another one off the track. But 6th place finish for me, that's not too bad. Stimpy Dad, the Invisible Murder Man, and Vitorn VB picks up the win. A dominant performance. And so we move on to the 3rd and final race, which was at Grand Oaks. Again, this time I had no time for practice, purely 3 qualifying laps was all that I had on this one. And so again I qualified in 7th place, which I thought was pretty decent. And this is a race that I have run before in the single player game, the small amount of the single player game that I've been able to play without the game crashing. And we make a reasonably good start. Battling for 5th place, BTB 1992. We let him go through. And Media Cracks Baby also comes through. Someone's had a nightmare in that corner, so we get past them. They come back, and then I get rammed in the rear, and again. Media Cracks Baby is gone. And now we're in 6th place, chasing Apollo Creed. being chased by the graphic Russian. Looks like somebody else went for a off-road excursion there. We're up to 5th place now. We've got BTB 1992 again. Oh, and another couple of guys have won. So now we're up to 3rd. Cars everywhere. Absolute carnage. Really close up on BTB 1992 here, but there's not really much I can do once I get that close. So it just slots in behind, but he is losing the back end on the corners quite a lot, which is interesting. It's a front-wheel drive car, but a bit of drifting going on. He disappears off the side, but that's just desync. It sorts itself out after a few seconds. Good old Forza desync. And we're absolutely hammering it down the street, right behind him, with the graphic Russian right behind me. Have a little look, but I bail out of it early. But I bail out a little bit too much when the graphic Russian comes through and gives me a little poke. I think there may have been some desync there, because we barely touch one another. He seems to spin off. Definitely wasn't sufficient contact for that kind of reaction, so I suspect that was a networking issue. So we're in 3rd place, chasing down BTB 1992, although he's definitely got a bit of a lead on me now. Mediocre speedy behind me. We're quite a distance back, so we're in a fairly safe position now. Creed setting the pace in front. Driver appears in 4th place, Tech 1. He's got a little bit of a penalty, probably an off-track violation. But he is eating into that gap between me and him. Down from 2 seconds already, now down to 1.3. This corner. It's got it down to 0.6. And so the speed that he's catching up with me, I just don't see any answer to that. So I fully expect him to overtake me in the next few corners at this point. But all the time keeping pace with BTB 1992. So this guy is definitely going faster than both of us. Move, and I'll just ease off a little bit. I'm not going to fight him on that, but I'll happily chase him. But then made a bit of a mess of that corner and he's away. And now in 4th place we've got the graphic Russian behind us again, although a decent distance behind. Starting to notice trouble with my grip around the corners. So I think the tyres are starting to wear out. Definitely dropped back from ETB 1992 as well, because both him and Tech1 are now over 2 seconds ahead of me. And now, alarmingly, with more than a lap left to go, I'm being told to go into the pits for fuel, which I'm obviously not going to do, but it does run the risk of running out of fuel before the end of the race. So obviously I've been using a bit more fuel than expected. Because I did put in 8 laps worth of fuel, but looks like I might be a little bit short. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Tyres squealing around every corner now. You can see they're in well worn, those front 2 tyres. I suspect my driving style has probably contributed to that quite a lot. At this point Apollo Creed is in front of us and he has slowed down dramatically, so I think he has possibly run out of fuel or is running out of fuel. So we overtake him and we're back up into 3rd place. And the question is, do we have enough fuel? BTB 1992 looks like he's going to take the victory. Tech1 2nd place, and then as I come around the final corner, the power starts dropping. But I just have enough to get to the finish line. So I think I ran out of fuel there on the final straight, but just had enough to keep me ahead of Apollo Creed. So it's a podium finish from 7th place, so I'm really happy with that. That's a great finish. No penalties. Can't really ask for much more. So we get to take our place on the podium, 3rd place. Tech1 takes 2nd. BTB 1992 takes 1st. Then I take one look at them and banish them to the Shadow Realm. So the outcome of that was a B safety rating, which is not great. So I'm going to have to work to try to improve that. But a decent skill rating out of 5,000, so got to be reasonably happy with that. As a first experience of the online racing on Forza Motorsport, it was pretty good. It was clean. There was no rammers in the races that I was in. But I definitely think that penalty system needs some work. But we're all playing under the same system, so I guess from that perspective it's not too bad. I'll definitely be doing more, but it's definitely not grabbing me in the same way that Forza Horizon did. The single player at the moment is absolutely terrible. The game continuously crashes. I get maybe 1 or 2 races and then the game will crash to desktop. And the unlocking system for upgrading your car is absolutely atrocious. The fact that each car that you have to drive for about 2 to 3 hours of real time to unlock some of the rather more basic things that you would want to do with a car, let alone the engine swaps and things like that, is ridiculous. It's a system that's purely been designed to make people play the game for longer. But it's not made for you to enjoy playing the game for longer. So that, I hope, is going to change. I hope they make some changes on that. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.